This is from apparently 1979.
Or the root of the word compassion is to feel together. And if people have the same feeling together and are responsible for each other, then you have compassion.
And you don't think it's part of, what's the word, original sin, that human beings in their very nature compete?
Well, I don't think that there is such thing as original sin, and I think it has developed more and more with the growth of our society. That there's no evidence that people in the hunter-gatherer society were all that competitive, but the more you made society big and you had organization and you had to get to the top, the people on the bottom would suffer. There was a drive to compete, naturally.
And do you think that perhaps the desire to compete is a weakness?
Not a weakness, that's a mistake.
Right.
Bohm devastated these people. Dalai Lama could barely speak English.
War is not only an accepted part of human behavior and human history, but perhaps even an acceptable part. That going to war is one of the things that excites and delights human beings.
I think that people would be ready to change now. I think the situation is changing, but there's still a residue of all this, the old feelings, and at the same time a tremendous incompetence in many ways. Like, I would like to add that I think we should forgive the debts of the third world because they're making the situation impossible there. I mean, it's a very elementary point. And they would probably be able to take care of themselves if they didn't have to pay back all that interest. We have got to change our way of thinking. You see, that over many thousands of years, we have had a fragmentary way of thinking, of breaking everything up into nations and religions and families and people, as if they were independent when they are not. You see, it's a false, incoherent way of thinking.
The moderator's a tool. The artist drunk is a tool. That Russian guy is a tool. This is from a movie. I didn't see the original intact conference.
So the first thing we have to do in the long run is to look at our whole way of thinking, which has developed over so many thousands of years. I don't think it was the original way of thinking of the human race at all, but for many complex reasons it came about. Now, that means that people have to make they have to participate, to make a cooperative effort to have a dialogue, a real dialogue in which we will not merely exchange opinions, but actually listen deeply to the views of other people without resistance. And we cannot do this if we hold to our own opinion and resist the other. It doesn't mean we should accept the other, but we have to be able to look at all the opinions as suspended, as it were, in front of us, without carrying them out, without suppressing them.
It looks like they were trying to co-opt David Bohm. It looks as if they were unsuccessful. Some people cannot be bought.
Science has begun to replace religion as the major source of the worldview. And therefore, if science takes a fragmentary worldview, it will have a profound effect on consciousness.
But science is always seen as measurement. Is that no longer true?
Well, science is whatever people make of it. You see, science has changed over the ages, and it's different now from a few hundred years ago, and it could be different again. Now, there's no intrinsic reason why science must necessarily be measurement. This is another historical development which has come about over the past few centuries. It's entirely contingent and not absolutely necessary.